The screen opens on Buckingham Palace's sunlit courtyard, a radiant tapestry of history and humanity, shimmering under the fierce August sun. The cream-colored stone walls glowing with a warmth that speaks of centuries past. Tourists swarm along the iron barrier, their cameras flashing like summer lightning, capturing the vibrant flutter of royal standards against a clear, Cherulansky, the Union Jack waving proudly atop its flagpole, a symbol of enduring tradition. The air is alive with the hum of voices, the click of shutters, the scent of warm cobblestones, sunscreen, and the faint aroma of grilled sausages from a vendor's cart. Cathedral bells chime softly across London, their resonant notes weaving through the courtyard's vibrant chaos, grounding the scene in a quiet reverence. In this sun-drenched spectacle, where tradition meets the pulse of the present, a little girl's silent cry for help will shock a royal guard into action, breaking centuries of protocol to save a life, a moment that will redefine duty, not just for one man, but for all who witness the courage to act when innocence is at stake. If you're moved by stories of courage that save lives, hit subscribe to join our community and catch more heart-stirring tales every day. As the sun blazes, one question echoes across the courtyard. What would you risk to answer a child's silent plea? Staff Sergeant Michael Harrow stands motionless at his post, a steadfast sentinel in his scarlet tunic, the heavy fabric warm under the August sun. The towering bearskin hat casting a shadow across his disciplined face, its black fur glistening with faint perspiration. At 34, Michael is a seasoned soldier of the Royal Regiment, his broad frame honed by 2 tours in Afghanistan, his green eyes sharp with a vigilance forged in the crucible of combat, softened by the quiet joys of fatherhood to his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. His face, tanned and etched with faint scars from shrapnel, is a mask of stoic resolve. But beneath the surface lies a man shaped by the lives he saved and the losses he's endured. A flashback transports us to a moonlit night in Helmand Province, where Michael, his uniform streaked with dust, moves swiftly through a village, his eyes catching the subtle signs of an ambush. His shouted warning saving his patrol, earning him a military cross and a reputation for seeing what others miss. Now, as a Queen's Guard, his duty is to embody the crown's honor, to stand as a living symbol of tradition. His rifle steady, his posture rigid, but his instincts remain alert, scanning the crowd with subtle shifts of focus, ready to detect danger in this sunlit courtyard. Among the throng of tourists, families clutching guidebooks, teenagers snapping selfies, vendors hawking Union Jack flags and miniature bearskin hats, Michael's gaze settles on a 9-year-old girl, Emily Carter, standing rigid near the barrier, her red sundress too bright for her pale, tense face, her blue eyes downcast, avoiding the world. Her small frame is dwarfed by a man in a gray suit, his polished shoes gleaming, his smile forced, his fingers gripping her arm with a pressure that leaves faint marks, visible when her sleeve shifts. The man, David Wells, in his mid-40s, exudes a calculated charm, his dark hair neatly combed, his tie perfectly knotted, but his eyes dart nervously, betraying a control that feels predatory, not protective. Emily's posture, shoulders hunched, hands clasped tightly, sets off alarms in Michael's mind, his thoughts flashing to Lily, her trusting smile, her small hand in his, the fierce love that drives him to protect. The courtyard pulses with live tourists laughing, a street musician strumming a lively tune on a guitar, a vendor's call cutting through the chatter. But Michael's focus narrows, his heart stirring with a soldier's intuition, a growing sense that something is terribly wrong beneath the surface of this sunlit scene. The conflict ignites as Michael's gaze locks on Emily, his green eyes catching the man's subtle but menacing behavior. Wells leans down, his voice low, his words a hiss that carries to Michael's trained ears over the crowd's hum. "Keep quiet, or you'll regret it." he warns, his fingers tightening on Emily's arm, her body stiffening, her blue eyes flickering with fear. Her sleeve rides up, revealing faint bruises, yellowing marks that speak of days of harm, before Wells adjusts her position, pulling the fabric down with a practiced motion, his smile returning like a mask, his eyes scanning the crowd to ensure no one noticed. Michael's heart races, his thoughts flashing to Lily, to the promise he made after her birth, to protect the vulnerable, a vow forged in the chaos of war and sealed by fatherhood. The courtyard remains vibrant, tourists chattering, a vendor selling flags with a cheerful shout, a couple sharing a guidebook under the shade of a barrier. But Michael's world contracts to the girl and the man, his instinct screaming that danger lurks behind Wells' polished facade, his grip on Emily, a violation of the safety this courtyard should embody. The crowd's energy shifts subtly. A few tourists noticing the exchange, an older woman in a floral hat, her face kind but alert, pauses her conversation, her eyes lingering on Emily's tense frame, while a young father pushing a stroller, his toddler, asleep, frowns at Wells's demeanor, his instincts as a parent stirring. Michael catalogues the signs. Emily's fear, Wells' control, the bruises hidden but unmistakable, the mismatch in their dynamic that screams predator, not protector. His training demands he remain still, a statue, bound by protocol, but his heart, shaped by combat and fatherhood, urges him to act, to protect a child whose silent cry echoes Lily's vulnerability. The vendor's call fades, the musician's tune softens, the bells toll faintly, and Michael's focus sharpens, his green eyes tracking Wells' every move, his mind racing with the weight of his duty to the crown, to tradition, but above all, to the girl whose fear pierces his resolve. The tension escalates as Wells steers Emily toward a quieter corner of the courtyard, away from the camera's gaze. His movements deliberate, his voice low and menacing, carried to Michael by a sudden lull in the crowd's chatter. "Don't even think about running. They won't believe you," he says, his hand sliding to her shoulder, his fingers digging in, making her wince, her fists clenching in silent defiance, her trembling body betraying a fear she cannot voice. The older woman in the floral hat steps closer, her voice warm but probing, offering Emily a candy from a small tin, her eyes studying the girl's pale face. "You like peppermint, dear?" she asks, her tone gentle, her gaze flickering to Wells, sensing something amiss. Wells snaps, his voice sharp, his smile strained. "No sweets, she's got allergies," he says, pulling Emily closer, his fingers whitening on her shoulder, his eyes darting to the crowd, his control fraying under scrutiny. The woman's smile falters, her hand retreating, but her eyes linger, her concern a quiet spark in the courtyard's brightness. The young father, his stroller now still, notices Emily's backpack, its name tag deliberately turned inward, obscuring any name, a detail that deepens his frown. His voice low as he whispers to his wife, "That's not right." Her tags hidden. His wife, her eyes narrowing, nods, her hand resting protectively on their toddler. Her maternal instincts alert to Emily's fear. A teenage girl, her phone poised to record the guards, shifts her focus, her lens catching Wells' grip, her voice soft but urgent. "He's holding her too tight," she says to her friend, their faces a mix of concern and unease. Wells, sensing the growing attention, quickens his pace, dragging Emily toward the exit, his polished shoes clicking faster, his smile fading, his eyes scanning for an escape. Emily stumbles, her sneakers scuffing the cobblestones, her blue eyes glancing back, locking onto Michael's for a fleeting moment, wide with desperation, a silent plea that pierces his heart. Her hand, trembling but deliberate, flashes a distress signal, fist closed, opened, pressed to her palm, a gesture Michael recognizes from his counter-terrorism training. A call for help that shatters his resolve to remain still. The climax erupts, as Michael breaks formation, his boots echoing on the cobblestones. A thunderous sound that silences the courtyard. The crowd gasping, their cameras dropping as they turn to witness the unprecedented breach. His scarlet tunic blazes in the sunlight, his bearskin hat steady, his rifle angled across his chest, a symbol of authority. As he strides toward Wells in long, purposeful steps, the distance closing in seconds.
His presence, a wall of resolve.
Stop now, he commands, his voice a steady boom, deep and unyielding, carrying the weight of his years in combat, his green eyes locking onto Wells's, his authority brooking no defiance. The crowd freezes, their faces a gallery of shock and awe, their voices falling silent as the weight of the moment sinks in. Wells stammers, his face paling, his grip on Emily loosening, his voice weak. She's my daughter. Officer, just a tantrum. He protests, his smile forced, his eyes darting to the exits, his polished facade crumbling under Michael's intensity. Michael kneels to Emily's level, his scarlet tunic vivid against the cobblestones, his voice softening, his green eyes meeting her blue ones, offering a lifeline of trust. Was that a signal for help? He asks, his tone gentle but firm, his hand resting lightly on her shoulder, a father's warmth in a soldier's frame. Emily nods, her voice barely a whisper, trembling but clear, her courage breaking through her fear. I'm Emily Carter. He took me, she says, her words a desperate confession, her blue eyes glistening with tears, her small hand clutching her sundress, her trust in Michael a beacon in her darkness. The crowd gasps, their faces shifting from shock to horror, their murmurs rising in support of the girl and the god who acted. Wells lunges, his voice shrill, his gray suit creasing as he tries to pull Emily back. She's lying. He snaps, but palace security, their navy uniforms cutting through the crowd, restrain him, their hands firm, their radios crackling with urgency, their faces professional but alert. A tourist, a middle-aged woman with a smartphone, steps forward, her screen displaying a missing child alert from a local news site. The photo, unmistakably Emily. Her red sundress and blue eyes a perfect match. Reported missing from a London park 3 days prior. Last seen near a playground. This is her, she says, her voice shaking, her phone held high for the officers to see. The alert's details confirming Emily's story, sealing Wells' fate. The older woman in the floral hat, her tears now flowing, clutches her candy tin, her voice trembling. Thank God you saw her, she says, her eyes on Michael, her gratitude a quiet prayer. The young father, his toddler now awake, nods to Michael, his voice low but firm. You're a hero, Mate, he says, his wife's hand tightening on his. Their faces lit with respect. The teenage girl, her video capturing the moment, wipes her eyes, her voice soft. He saved her life. The resolution unfolds as the courtyard, once charged with the electricity of confrontation, settles into a warm reverence. The sun still blazing, the royal standards fluttering above, the bells chiming softly in the distance. Emily's parents, Sarah and Thomas Carter, rush through the gates, their faces tear-streaked, their voices breaking as they sprint across the cobblestones, their arms enveloping Emily in a desperate, tearful embrace, their gratitude a palpable force that fills the courtyard. Thank you, Sarah sobs, her hands clutching Emily's face, her blue eyes meeting Michael's with a depth of thanks words cannot convey. Thomas, his voice choked, grips Michael's hand. His words simple but heavy. You gave us our daughter back. The crowd claps softly, their applause growing, a tide of admiration that washes over the courtyard. Tears glistening in strangers' eyes, their hands a chorus of gratitude for the God who broke tradition to save a life, for the girl whose courage gave voice to her fear. The older woman in the floral hat, her tears wiped away, approaches Emily's parents, her voice soft. She was so brave, she says, her candy tin now a gift for Emily, her smile warm with relief. The young father, his stroller beside him, shares a nod with his wife, their toddler waving a tiny flag, their faces reflecting pride in the guard who acted. In the community that witnessed the teenage girl, her video now uploaded, watches it spread online. Her caption reading, "A guard saved a girl today. Heroes wear red. Palace security." Their faces softened. Escort wells away. His grey suit rumpled. His head bowed. His protest silenced by the evidence, Emily's testimony. The bruises on her arms. The missing child alert. The crowd's observations. Michael, back at his post, stands tall. His scarlet tunic slightly creased from kneeling. His bearskin hat adjusted. His rifle steady. His green eyes softer now. His heart carrying the weight of Emily's trust. The applause still echoing in his mind. At a private ceremony in Buckingham Palace's state dining room, Michael stands before Colonel Sir Edward Blake, his scarlet tunic gleaming under golden chandeliers, the air rich with the scent of polished mahogany and fresh roses in crystal vases. Blake, his face stern but warm, his silver hair catching the light, pins the Queen's Guard Medal for exceptional service to Michael's chest, a rare honor for acts that uphold the Crown's values in extraordinary ways. "You honored the Crown by saving her." Staff Sergeant, Blake says, his voice resonant, his eyes meeting Michael's with pride. "Your vigilance is our strength, your compassion, our heart." The king himself sends his gratitude. Michael's green eyes glisten. His thoughts on Emily, on Lily, on the duty that defines him. His salute steady, his heart full, the weight of the medal, a reminder of the girl he saved, the life he changed. Weeks later, a package arrives at Michael's modest London flat, a cozy home filled with Lily's drawings and the scent of fresh-baked cookies, where his wife, Anna, a pediatric nurse, reads bedtime stories to their daughter. Inside is a drawing from Emily, a scarlet guard with a towering bearskin hat, a girl in a red sundress holding a flag. The words "My hero" scrawled in blue crayon. The letters uneven but heartfelt. A note from Sarah and Thomas reads, "You gave us our world back." Michael, Emily smiles again because of you. Michael tucks the drawing into his wallet. Next to a photo of Lily, her smile a mirror of Emily's courage. A talisman for the days ahead. Anna, her brown eyes warm, rests her hand on his, her voice soft. "You brought her home," she whispers, her pride in her husband, a quiet anchor in their home. The story of that sunlit August morning becomes a global phenomenon, shared across news outlets, social media, and whispered conversations. A viral video capturing Michael's march, his command echoing, Emily's signal, a silent cry that shattered protocol, the crowd's applause. A symphony of humanity. Headlines hail the guard who heard a silent cry, framing Michael's act as a lesson in vigilance, a reminder that the truest duty is to break the rules for what's right. News anchors recount the story with reverence, their voices thick with emotion, while online forums buzz with praise for the guard who saw danger, for the girl whose courage spoke, for the parents whose hope was restored. The video, shared millions of times, shows Michael's scarlet tunic blazing across the courtyard, Emily's small frame clinging to her parents, the crowd's tears and applause. A testament to a moment that transcends borders, uniting viewers in awe of a God who chose a child's life over tradition. The aftermath ripples through the lives touched by that morning. Wells, identified as a predator linked to a trafficking network, faces multiple charges. His capture, a direct result of Michael's intervention. Emily's courage and the crowd's vigilance. His polished exterior, no match for the truth. The older woman in the floral hat, back in her Kent village, shares the story with her book club. Her candy tin now a keepsake from a day she'll never forget. Her voice warm with pride for the guard who acted. The young father, now an advocate for child safety, speaks at community events, his toddler's flag a constant reminder. His resolve strengthened by Emily's bravery, his advocacy ensuring schools teach distress signals. The teenage girl, her video a catalyst for change, starts a blog about child protection. Her words inspired by Michael's courage. Her platform a light for others. Michael visits Emily's school months later, speaking to children about safety, teaching them the distress signal. His scarlet tunic a beacon for the students, his voice steady but warm, his presence a reassurance that help is always possible. Emily, now thriving, sits in the front row, her red sundress bright, her blue eyes shining with trust, her hand waving a small flag. Her courage, a foundation for her recovery. Her parents, their gratitude deepening, invite Michael and his family to their home. Their conversations hinting at a lasting bond, a shared understanding of the fragility and strength of love. Lily, clutching her father's hand, gives Emily a drawing of two girls holding hands, a gift that seals their connection, a moment of joy that mirrors the courtyard's light. Michael returns to his post the following month. The August sun now softened by autumn's approach. The courtyard alive with new tourists, their cameras flashing, their voices a familiar hum. His scarlet tunic glows, his bearskin hat steady, his rifle a vow to protect, its weight a reminder of the duty he carries. The crowd, unaware of the drama, snaps photos, but the vendor, his cart adorned with a small flag like Emily's, nods to Michael, his smile a quiet acknowledgement of the hero beneath the uniform. Palace staff, passing by, offer subtle nods, their respect unspoken but profound, their pride in Michael a shared secret among those who serve the crown. In his quiet moments, Michael thinks of Emily's drawing, of Lily's laughter, of the vow he made in Helmand to protect the vulnerable, of the lesson that duty is not just in standing still, but in moving when a child's cry demands it. The palace, with its sunlit stones and royal standards, stands as it always has, a witness to countless moments of courage, its honor upheld by a god who acted when a girl's silent signal pierced tradition, who saw fear where others saw shyness, who moved when protocol demanded stillness. The story of that August morning is a parable of compassion, a testament to the power of a single moment to save a life, to remind us that the truest duty is to break the rules for what's right, that a child's signal can call forth a hero from a statue. Staff Sergeant Michael Harrow, with his soldier's instincts and father's heart, proved that vigilance can pierce deception, that a girl's courage can change the world, that a guard's action can echo beyond the palace walls, uniting us in the belief that no cry for help should go unheard. Sometimes, the truest duty is to break the rules for what's right. What does courage mean to you? Have you ever faced a moment where you had to act to protect someone, where a silent plea demanded your strength, where your heart refused to stay still? Share your story in the comments below. Tell us about the choices that defined your honor, the moments that tested your resolve, the lessons that linger like a child's drawing in a soldier's wallet. If you're inspired by stories like Michael Harrow's and Emily Carter's stories of vigilance, compassion, and the courage to break tradition for a life, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Join our community for more tales that uplift, that challenge, that remind us of the strength within us all every single day.